Let's bring in Vicky Price. She's an economist and board member at the Center for Economics and Business Research. She joins us now live from London. Vicky, always a pleasure having you on the show. Addressing and setting targets when it comes to climate change has become a pretty popular trend for many governments and businesses. I understand the power that these countries sort of hold in terms of what John Kerry said, but let me flip his words. I mean, if the US, China, Russia, India don't find it economically feasible, if it's all about money, 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 if the transition is just too expensive, then they're not going to do it. And climate change continues to stay as a catchphrase.
Well, absolutely. I think there are two issues here. One is whether there is enough willingness to transfer the money that has been pledged now for a number of years to the developing world so that they can have more ability to deal with adapting to climate change and possibly mitigating it. But adapting is really what many of them need to do in order to survive in the future. And the second thing really is the amount of money that is being spent by the individual countries themselves in their own territory to innovate and have the types of technologies which are going to lead to lower emissions in the future. And we've seen, of course, the US already through its Inflation Reduction Act, which is basically loads and loads of extra billions of US dollars being used in order to ensure that green investments take place, that they are actually quite serious about doing this. The EU is trying to reciprocate, of course, worrying that perhaps that means loads more subsidies for green investments in the US, which will exclude them. So there may be some extra movement there too. So what we're talking about really is a double issue, which is one, making sure the developing world can survive, and the second one really investing sufficiently to ensure that emissions are in fact reduced in a sustainable fashion, if you like, from here on.
Let's switch gears a little bit with you, Vicky. I mean, the idea behind Davos and the World Economic Forum is that this model can only survive, only be successful if there's a prolonged period of peace and prosperity, because essentially the global economic integration depends on it. Right now, Europe's biggest war since World War II is only about 1,500 kilometers away from this cute Swiss town. The conflict has shown that war can really sever the economic ties on which globalization was built. This wasn't around last year. How does it change things?
It's absolutely true. And I think it's one of the reasons why there is a lot more pessimism ahead. Not only, of course, have we had the sort of economic impact or energy prices being high, but also we've seen a lot of disruptions in supply chains still continuing, whereas, of course, 2022 was supposed to be the recovery year from COVID. What we've got now, of course, is serious concerns ahead, and geopolitical tensions are one of the areas that is worrying quite significantly. All the participants in Davos right now, it's one of the five main sort of challenges, if you like, that the World Economic Forum has put forward. But I'm afraid, yes, Ukraine will dominate and is dominating discussions in Davos. A lot of political meetings are taking place all around the sort of main meetings that are happening. So yes, it is an important one, but it is also affecting quite significantly the mood. If you look at some of the surveys that have been done, I mean, PwC surveys suggest serious pessimism about growth among CEOs in the developed world for 2023. And you've also seen, of course, the WEF itself doing its own survey of chief economists, where again, there's serious gloom about 2023 when you wouldn't really have been expecting it. And it is really the war in Ukraine which is leading to a lot of that, and the rise in inflation that we have seen, even though things are improving a little bit on that score.
Okay, Vicky Price, thank you very much for joining us here on Territorial. I do enjoy listening to your analysis.